Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to Cross Button VR Snap. And today we are going to be talking about Metro Awakening VR. Yes, I'm joined by Reese. Reese and I have been playing the game. And what are our first impressions, Reese? Go on, you can start.
I love it. That's my first impression.
Yay! Thank goodness.
Loading up this game as a Metro fan is probably one of the best things ever. Just kind of, I think it's an extra level of appreciation you're going to get from the game. And for me, that's something that hit me straight away. Have you played the previous Metro games?
I haven't, so this is going to be quite an interesting snap, because you are a series veteran, if you like, and I am a complete noob. A bit like how the whole podcast that we do in general VR works.
Not really.
Works in general, isn't it? I'm a complete newcomer to the world of Metro as well. But as a serious aficionado, tell us your thoughts.
I think they've done this very well. So I actually finished the game on the day of recording this, literally. So we're recording this on Sunday. So I finished the game today. Literally, I think it spanned about just over 8 hours, close to 9. But PlayStation's telling me 8, but I always like to add a little bit extra to that. I think that's a good length. I think that's a length I'm happy with for the game, just because on certain parts I was like, can this just kind of get on now? Not so much because I was disliking the game, it was because those parts featured spiders, and we all know how that I feel about spiders. So, mentally, emotionally scarring at every point. But no, for a fan of the game, getting to use the weapons that they've thrown at me, just the Metro guns that you've used, even the shotgun, reloading that shotgun, it just feels so cool because it's not a normal shotgun as into other games. It just felt really cool. Seeing the scenery, like the actual Metro tunnels and how dark it is. I mean, it's really good.
And you've been playing this on Quest or PSVR2?
PSVR2. I have played it on Quest. And I will say that, so I've done the spider part on Quest and PSVR2. It was more horrifying on PSVR2, more because it's darker. A lot of footage you're probably going to see will show it'll be a little bit brighter because it captures from, the social screen. In the headset, it's pretty much pitch black, and I think you'd agree with that, wouldn't you, with how dark this game is?
Yeah.
So for me, it's there are moments in pure darkness, and you always kind of worry what's going to come next when you're kind of walking through a tunnel or, going through a vent. You're kind of like, is there going to be something in here with me? And I feel like for some points, this game kind of blurs the line between a suspenseful horror as opposed to a shooter. Not so much of like a horror game like Madison, but there was times where it really had me on edge.
Yeah, they like to, on the bit I'm near the end of the second chapter. It's quite a far way into the game. The chapters are quite long, aren't they? They're quite long
Some
chapters.
of them are a little bit shorter than others, but I will say each chapter probably ranges somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the chapter itself. There is, I think, 2 or 3 chapters in the game, which you will complete pretty quick, and you will be like, oh, that was actually 3 chapters or something like that. So,
I mean, I think I've played a good couple of hours, and I think I've come at this a lot slower than you do. So your 8-hour campaign is probably going to be more like 10 to 11, I think, for me. But I would say it definitely feels like, for people that want a proper game, a big, meaty game, this is definitely going to give you that experience, which is fantastic to have that in VR. This is not a side game, this is not a spin-off game that's going to be kind of forgotten about. This is a proper big story-based, very high production value, big, meaty, chunky game. It's the best way I can describe it, really. It feels like a AAA experience.
Definitely does.
It's up there with games like Horizon and Resident Evil as being those a proper gamer's game experience that people want on their headset. So I think for a lot of people with PSVR2, this is going to be pretty much a must-play.
Oh, 100%. 100% this is a game you have to play. Like, I think the way I word it really is kind of like, if you're a Metro fan, you owe it to yourself to play this, because just for the story alone, like having the same writer doing the story again, it's such a gripping story, and it genuinely did have me from start to finish. Like, I wanted to know what was going to happen next. I would come off of it for like 30 minutes, go walk around the house a little bit and go, actually, I'm going to jump back in. I've got nothing else to do. Why have I come off this? And
this is a prequel, isn't it, to the main
This is set in
games.
2028, and obviously Metro starts in 2033.
So did it add a lot to you for the background context, the wider context?
Not
Does it add a lot to the main?
Not in the sense of like linking things or anything like that. I think if anything, it kind of just made me appreciate the whole world of Metro more. Like just seeing this through VR and playing it like with your own eyes in that sense. I think it's given me a bigger appreciation than I could ever expect for this game now. And I now want more Metro in VR. I want them to do another one. I want them to kind of...
You're just greedy, aren't you?
I am a little bit when it comes to this. And I think it's because this is probably that first itch that I've had for a game where I've been a fan of. You know, like we've kind of cried for The Last of Us. Like, this is the first one where I've been hit with that. And I've kind of had that experience of something I really love outside of VR. And I'm like, okay, I want to experience more of what they can do with Metro.
Are you going to platinum it? It's just that means fighting those spiders again, doesn't it?
It does. It means going through the spiders again on the hardest difficulty and looking for postcards, which they've probably hidden in the areas where there are more spiders. I say more spiders. There isn't really more spiders. They're kind of all in the same vicinity. But yeah, I think going through there and knowing how the spiders are, I don't know if I can do it to myself again. I want to, and I think I'm going to try to. But I will say, when I got nearer to the end of the game, I was breezing through the spiders. Like, this game has helped me with this game has now helped me with my spider fear. But I will probably not put myself back in the shoes of it again anytime soon. Okay,
I'm just conscious of time now. I'm just going to move on to talk about some of the things I don't like so much about it, because I am with you. I think it's a very, very good game. I will say that some of it is a bit hard to see. I think some of I don't know if it's the PSVR2's headset, but when I play it, there are some bits that I struggle to see if it's just kind of a bit blurry or it's too dark to see stuff. I think there's the mirror effect on it. It seems to be quite bad. I don't know if I just need to clean my lenses a bit more often. I don't know what it is, but I found it quite hard. And I think I jumped from this to something like Max Mustard, which is obviously the most brightest, clearest, easiest thing to see in the world. It definitely noticeably it's very dark and hard to see, I think.
Yeah, I think there is mirror. I'm not going to say that. I think there's definitely mirror, and it's instantly noticeable. It does kind of get to the point though where you stop noticing it and just kind of push on through. Sadly, with the PSVR2, it's something you're always going to have to deal with. As for blurriness, I didn't really notice anything blurry, but I will say because of how dark the game is on the PSVR2, I did find it difficult for like retrieving my my bolts and my darts for certain weapons.
It's not so much blurry, it's more just hard to... I was kind of feel like I was having to really sort of strain when I had to squint to look in some of the areas, looking for bullets and things, looking for the gas mask replacements. It feels like it's harder than it needs to be to find that sort of stuff. So
it can be.
I think it's probably something that you probably get used to the more you play it.
Yeah, I think by the time I got to the end, near the end of the game, I was kind of like, I'm not noticing mirror, I'm not noticing how dark it is anymore. I'm constantly just walking around powering my torch to make it as bright as it can be. And I think that's something you kind of learn to do more.
Yeah, you have to get very much in the habit of recharging that torch.
Yeah, otherwise it gets to the point where you're not going to see anything. But no, overall for me, it's a game I've loved playing, and I do think I will jump back in and do it again at some point.
Yep, me too. I'm having a blast with it. It's great to have another big, proper, chunky game to be playing on the headset.
Yeah, and I like when you got to the credits, that was when I instantly noticed how chunky this game was when you saw those names. I was like, okay, this is full-on AAA.
Fantastic. Well, let's leave things there for now. People can hear some further thoughts from us and from Alex on next week's episode. But we wanted to get this first impressions video out there. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give us a sub on the service you're using. And if you can hit like and subscribe and leave us a comment that says what you liked about Metro Awakening, or if you're looking forward to picking it up, please do. And you can find us and further thoughts on Twitter and Blue Sky and everywhere else at CrossButtonVR. Thanks for watching.
Bye.